Hello, my name is David Charles Rowan, and I run rather unique tours of Stonehenge and its sacred landscape. As you may know, the general public can't have access to Stonehenge itself. They, when they visit, they go to a visitor centre, then land trains take them to a footpath that circles Stonehenge, although they don't actually go inside the monument itself. It is possible to book up special access visits, and there are tours and tour guides that do integrated tours of Bath and Salisbury and incorporate going inside the centre of Stonehenge either at sunrise or at sunset. This tour is different again. Not only do we go inside the centre of Stonehenge at sunset, we also go in a second time by moonlight or starlight. Once a year, English Heritage give us permission to take people in a small private party inside the very centre of Stonehenge beneath the light of the full moon or the canopy of stars. And it's not just that particular event, that's the culmination of a whole day. The tour begins in the morning at another henge, a place called Avebury, which is 20 miles north of Stonehenge. We meet there, and I don't just take people around and point things out. I do my best to keep up with the latest ideas. So I go to conferences and lectures and read books, and I'm about to begin an MA in Stonehenge archaeology, which will be my third master's degree. So there are lectures at certain points. Avebury begins with a 30-minute look at the history and astronomy and some of the legends and myths of Avebury, and then we walk around, and archaeologists have this ability to look at flat grass and in their minds have 3D models of hill forts and castles that are no longer there. So I point things out in the landscape that the ordinary visitor just might overlook and not even be aware that there's actually something of great relevance there. We then leave Avebury in a minibus and we visit every ancient monument within the Avebury landscape. And the purpose of this isn't just to show you things, it's also to help you build up a picture of the culture, the people, and the enormity and the scale of what was done 5,000 years ago. In the afternoon, we have lunch in Salisbury Plain, and we go to where the henge builders lived. There's a flat walk around the ridges of Stonehenge. So in the afternoon, while we're visiting some of the places and the other landmarks and monuments in the area, you can see Stonehenge in the distance all the time, about 2 miles away. But where we're walking is an untrodden road largely. You get the occasional army helicopter or someone jogging along. But for the most part, we're off the beaten track and away from tourists. So it becomes very peaceful. And we find a quiet spot beneath a tree. And then there's a technical, long, hour-long talk on the history and astronomy of Stonehenge. And this enables you to kind of have a real feel for the place before we go there. Now, we could do all this in a couple of hours in a village hall, that's true, with tea and biscuits, but you wouldn't get a feel for it. And not only that, but because the information is meted out through the day, it enables you to kind of grab hold of it and keep it, so it builds in layers. So rather than just bamboozling everybody with lots of facts and data, which would be rather dull, we have a wonderful, jolly day out and a nice lunch, meet some new friends, and explore these ancient places. And you get a sense through the afternoon of walking around this enduring landscape that it's almost like we're just dust on the wind just passing through. This landscape has been there long before our arrival and may well be there long after we've left this place as well. So a kind of a philosophical place begins to build. When we go inside Stonehenge for the first time at sunset, you can see Stonehenge clearly. Some of the maps and things we've been looking at come to life. I point out the various locations of certain things of interest. We set up a camera on a tripod and get everybody into a line and take photographs of everybody one at a time so that you can have the most amazing social media profile photo of you inside the classic image of Stonehenge, and possibly get a group shot of everybody as well. And then that we have an hour at the sunset, which gives you time to kind of get to know the place a little bit. And many people report that it's at the end of an hour when they start to really feel they get to kind of feel settled. Because when you first go in, your conscious mind's looking at things, wanting to know about this and wanting to know about that. So having just got used to it, we then have to leave, unfortunately. But we go and have a nice dinner nearby. And the venue for the evening meal is especially chosen because it's in a village that's away from lots of traffic. So through the afternoon, we're constantly talking about vast tracts of time, thousands of years. And so particular care is taken that in the evening, we don't get disturbed as much as we might be by 21st century furniture and paraphernalia. So we don't go into a village where there's a kind of loud beat music coming out of a pub or traffic lights and roundabouts and things. It's all kept as quiet and as easy as possible. Even the venue where we go and have dinner switch off the music because they know that we're reducing the amount of 21st century interruption. So we hold the sense of journeying through time. We then get back in the minibus and we return to Stonehenge for the second time and a second hour. Going inside Stonehenge, either by moonlight or by starlight, is a very evocative and enchanting thing to do. By the time we've returned, at this stage, you'd have had about 13 hours of my voice going, nah, nah, nah. So you just go, shh, Rowan, shh, quiet. And you may have some good food and good wine in your belly too. And your feet just might have suddenly realised that you've been walking for quite a lot during the day, and your body just wants to settle down and rest. So there's a compulsory 30 minutes silence. During the 30 minutes silence, some people meditate, some people send well-wishing and healing to others. Just prior to the 30-minute silence, I draw an astrological birth chart on a huge piece of paper, showing the positions of the planets at that very moment in time that we're in there. And for some people like the atmosphere to be read, so then they know that certain types of healing or sending healing to certain people or certain circumstances might be fortuitous in that moment. And then again, they might not be fortuitous in that moment. But it's like getting a sense of the tone of the cosmic wind and being able to catch the sail of it so that any well-wishing that you do has more essence to it, a deeper intensity, and maybe more power. While everybody's experiencing their 30 minutes of silence, whether walking silently, laying down or sitting on the grass, meditating with your eyes closed, or just looking to see if you can see a shooting star, I walk around with a camera taking pictures of the star canopy all the while, so that the whole thing is captured for you. It's an amazing tour. It only happens once a year. I began doing this in 1993, so it's more than 2 decades of experience of taking people and having the privilege of taking people of like mind around this sacred landscape. It can be very illuminating for people. Some people find that there's a richness and a depth to the spirituality and the ground in the land of this island, and they never even thought possible before. It sounds like a long time, but it whizzes very, very quickly. In fact, the whole day is roughly following the direction of what some might call a ley line. So although there's a bit of flat walking, only one very slight incline through the day, the whole thing actually seems to evaporate and disappear very quickly. But you get lots of information and maybe make good friends as well. So I hope you can join us on the tour. The dates vary from year to year because it follows the astronomy of the moon cycles. And so keep in touch. There's a web link under here that you can contact, and you can also register interest for future courses if you wish to. There's no limit on how many of these tours you do. So some people, for example, come 2 or 3 years in a row and find that each time they do it, there's a new layer of meaning, a different depth of feeling that they get from it. But whether we meet once or more than once, it would be wonderful to have your company. Please feel free to write to me if you wish to, and that's Stonehenge-Starlight-tours.com, and I'll be very, very happy to answer any questions you have. Thank you very much for your time here. My name's David Charles Rowan, and I look forward to seeing you. Thank you. Bye.